Now recognize Dr. Burgess for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I apologize for being out of the room for part of the hearing. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions if they've been asked before. Please bear with me and try to give an answer that's consistent with how you answered previously. First off, what is the budget for the EPA currently?
I don't have the budget for the entire EPA. I can give you the budget for my organization.
Sure, we'll take that.
So it's roughly $100 million a year and 340 full-time people that work in my organization.
The overall budget for the EPA, and I'm just relying on memory, which is dangerous, but I think it is close to $15 billion. So the EPA has resources available. It has funding available.
I do want to correct that. I think EPA's budget is around $7 billion and about 15,000 people, roughly. Nevertheless,
West Virginia University had a budget for this research project. My understanding is around $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Is that correct?
We are extraordinarily grateful for the work that West Virginia University and the ICCT did, and I'm not going to blame our budget for the fact that we missed this cheating. I do think we do a very good job of setting priorities at EPA. Once we learned of this excess emissions, we focused on it. We didn't ignore it. And we immediately changed how we're doing our testing regime to be more unpredictable so this doesn't happen again in the future.
Well, with all due respect, just looking at the situation, I think the American people ought to ask that we fire you and hire Western Virginia University to do our work. They certainly are much more cost effective than this part of the federal agency. Let me ask you this. I sit on another subcommittee. We have jurisdiction over the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, so I'm familiar with safety recalls, but we heard Mr. Horn testify earlier today that this is not a safety issue, that these cars, as they are driven, there are emissions issues, but there are not safety issues. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So does EPA do its own kind of recall that is separate and apart from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration?
We do.
And would this be www.recalls.gov? That is the website that consumers can go to find out information about the recall or the possible recall on their vehicle?
So we have not ordered a recall yet. When we do, we'll provide that information for sure.
That information will be on your website?
Yes.
So I went to the website. Truthfulness staff went to the website. They printed it off for me. Very grateful for that. You can get information about pesticides, pesticide websites, EPA emission recalls, where I assume this would fall. Is that correct?
Yes.
When you click on that link, you get a page not found, website improvements underway. So can you let consumers know when they are likely to be able to get that information off of your website?
So again, sir, we've not ordered a recall, so there is no recall information. We have information on our website that talks about our notice of violation, what vehicles are covered, and what consumers need to know, which is that they can drive these cars. These cars are safe to drive. They will not be held responsible for any repairs. That would be the responsibility of the company.
Let me ask you this, because Mr. Pallone was asking you things about payment and damages, and because of the issue that the air was dirtier and health and safety have been impacted. So it's in all likelihood, Volkswagen of America is going to face some significant fines and penalties by the Environmental Protection Agency, are they not?
I think that's very likely.
And you heard my admonition that to the CEO of Volkswagen of America, don't be dismissive. Don't run from the fact that this has happened. You need to be aggressively compliant, and I hope they will be. But I got to tell you, this summer, I went to Silverton, Colorado on my own dime and looked at what had happened to the Animas River, went to the Gold King mine, and that was entirely created and caused by the Environmental Protection Agency. So I've had a lot of people ask me that if a private company had done that and turned the Animas River yellow, they would be held, same thing we're talking about here. There'd be fines, there'd be mitigation costs. Does the EPA hold itself to the same standard to which it holds private corporations? And if not, why not?
Are you asking me to testify about the Gold King mine situation?
Just in general, the EPA causes a problem. Should they be held to the same standards? And no, I'm not asking you to testify. In fact, Mr. Chairman, I think we should have a hearing on that as a separate issue. But just answer the question. Should EPA be held to the same standards to which you are going to hold a private corporation?
All I can say, sir, because I'm not familiar with all the details, is I certainly have seen and read that the administrator has taken full responsibility for that situation, and we're acting accordingly.
It looked like a scene out of Ghostbusters. I'll just tell you that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.